Kerry Lutz is my guest today. He's got a book out called Forget Wall Street, Go for Gold and Silver. Well, a lot of us can't afford that. But he's also a guy who way back in April predicted the collapse of the Obamacare rollout and all of the mess that's going to follow in its wake. He is a student of the Austrian School of Economics. Some of you will know what that is. And some of us won't, but we probably will all have a better idea when we get through. He became a practicing attorney, lifelong entrepreneur, and now has a talk show down in Florida. Poor fellow. West Palm Beach, I believe. We'll be talking to him in just a moment.
It's time for the Newsmaker Show on News Talk AM 1480 WLEA. Here's Kevin Doran.
Okay, Kerry, welcome to our show. Now, before we went on the air, you were telling me that you knew Obamacare was going to be a dud. So what did you do? You knew back in April that your insurance was going to be taken away. Even though they lied about it, you knew that they were going to do it, right?
Oh, yeah, because my insurance doesn't pay for abortions. It doesn't pay for birth control pills. It had a lifetime cap. I don't think it pays for mental health, a whole bunch of things. So it had to be canceled.
Wait a minute. What about delivering a baby?
I think it pays for that. But
you don't expect to do that. You don't
Okay.
expect to do that, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of past my childbearing ages.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Probably not.
I really can't wait for people to see what they're covered for. And they, of course, those of us who have company insurance, we haven't seen how bad it is yet. The other people have. All right, go ahead.
So basically I said the first thing I have to do is really make a commitment to getting healthy because I'm not going to be able to afford to get sick anymore. It's a luxury that I can't afford. So I went on a major lifestyle change, lost 25 pounds, got rid of my type 2 diabetes, lowered my blood pressure, lowered my cholesterol, all those bad numbers, dramatically lowered them. And then I went on a binge of seeing every doctor that I thought I might need. I'm 56. I went and got a stress test, and I'm seeing a cardiologist in a couple of weeks, even though I don't need to, but the fact is, maybe next year I might need to see one, and I probably won't be able to, or it'll be very difficult to see doctors next year because we're facing potential chaos in the medical sector. And who knows what's going to be covered and what won't be. I know that my out-of-pocket expenses are going to be dramatically higher. So even though I don't need to see that specialist now, probably will need to see him next year. So let's see him now. It'll be cheaper. It'll be easier to see him. So for the past 6 months, I've seen multiple doctors, multiple times, just in anticipation of the chaos that's going to occur from Obamacare.
Now, you knew this back in April, and you're on a talk show, and you're saying it on a talk show. I bet you got some nasty calls.
Well, compared to, saying bad things about the president and Obamacare is almost as bad as saying things about that you don't believe in climate change or that you're against veganism.
Yeah.
Those are the third rails of talk radio.
Well, I understand that a guy in Denver lost his job because he pointed out the fact that Obama's mother posed for porno pictures, and they canned the guy.
Yeah, well, it's when you're pointing out the truth these days, it can have hazardous effects on your career for sure.
Did you know that, by the way, about his mother?
I knew that she was involved in some less than savory activities in her youth. That's for sure.
Well, as I said on the other day on the show, I can understand why the guy would want to cover that up, and I'm sincere about that. He didn't want anyone to know that. Who would want anyone to know that his mother was a porno star? I mean, it's kind of understandable. But the rest of it, we ought to know about. We ought to know what his grades were and who his profs were, what the courses were. We don't know that. And we probably never will till long after he's gone. Now, Kerry, are you fearful that you're not going to get another policy or that you won't be able to afford it? I assume your present policy has been canceled.
It's going to be. It's a small business policy, and they're going to find every reason to cancel it for sure. No question about it. I've just accepted the fact it's going to be gone.
Ours will probably be gone, too. A lot of us, rolling out the individuals first rather than business was a smart move by the administration because when they hit business, that's 85%, I believe, of the people who are insured through their business, through their companies. When they see what it's going to do, there will be a real uproar. But they're not going to do that until after the 2014 elections. They're very bright about that stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're still going to have to be Obamacare compliant. I think the prices are still going to have to go up, Kevin. So I don't think anybody's going to escape this. I think premiums are going up. There's nothing you can do about it because they're still going to have to be Obamacare compliant.
Right, which means a lot of guys won't be able to afford it, and they simply won't insure their employees. I know some guys right now who aren't going to. Not out of anger, not out of... They'd go out of business if they did, that's all. Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to go up, anywhere from 20 to 50%. So employees are going to be paying more for less, is what it comes down to. They'll raise the deductibles, raise the co-pays, raise the co-insurance. So no matter how you figure it, everybody's getting hit by this. I had friends on Medicare, and they said, Obamacare is not going to affect us. And they weren't any fans of the president. And then all of a sudden they find out that their Medigap policy, which was a United Healthcare policy, it paid for their gym, the Silver Sneakers policy and benefit, and it paid for all of their doctors. They didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. They just found out that United Healthcare had fired all the doctors on the plan and effectively shut down the plan, and that was because of all the money being shifted from Medicare over to Obamacare. And, basically they're going to be paying more under Medicare.
Many people have trouble believing that Obama is a student of, a follower of Saul Alinsky. That's because they don't know who Saul Alinsky is. But this is right out of Alinsky's playbook. Demonize somebody. So recently now, the Obama administration is blaming not Obamacare, but those dirty, rotten capitalist insurance companies. My question for you is, will they get away with that having lied to us once before? What do you think?
No. We've gotten to the point where if you want to keep your insurance plan, if you're happy with your insurance, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. And, look, the country's been dumbed down beyond all belief, but there's certain things that even this dumbed-down populace just isn't going to buy. And this is one of them. And they've just been lied to so many times by the administration that they're just not going to put this one by. There are certain people that don't believe anything. You know them and I know them. But this is one they're just not going to get away with here, Kevin.
Even the Democrats, even loyal, dyed-in-the-world Democrats? Dyed-in-the-wool Democrats.
25% of the population that'll just believe anything that he tells them. But the rest of the population, the independents, no. And the Republicans never believed him anyway. And then there's the free market, non-aligned party people like myself and perhaps you, Kevin, who don't believe anything that any politician tells you.
You got it, baby. You got it. You got it. I must tell you, I enrolled in the Republican Party because those are if you want to vote in the county elections or the town elections, there are only Republican primaries. So I enrolled Republican so I can vote. I'm dumb enough to think one vote counts. And, there probably are times when every once in a while, once in a million, one vote does make a difference. Besides, I like to vote. So I enroll in the only party where where the vote's going to mean anything, you know. New York's going to go Democrat if they put the Antichrist on the head of the ticket. So that doesn't matter. Yeah.
They did.
So it doesn't matter. But really, I am an independent. We're going to take a break. I'll be back with Kerry Lutz in just a moment.
Cy Surefine Food Mart saves you money by being the most convenient supermarket. Parking is close to the front doors, and their variety-filled yet simple store layout helps you save time and money by not encouraging you to buy all those things not on your list. And their weekly specials are superb. Here's Larry Jones with just a few of this week's sale items.
Thank you, Ned. This week at Size, folks, get whole, lean and meaty, boneless pork loins, cut and wrap free, $1.88 a pound. 73% lean ground beef, $1.98 a pound. Boneless chicken breasts, all size packages, $1.88 a pound. And Ronzoni pastas, 1 pound boxes, buy 2, get 3 free.
Size Surefine definitely has the best meats in the Canisteo Valley with only U.S. raised beef, cut right in their stores at either location, Arkport or Canisteo. Like them on Facebook or see their ad online at SizeSurefine.com. Thank you very much.
A family friend, Size Surefine.
Okay, for those of you who missed the first part of the show, Kerry Lutz, who's down in Florida, an attorney, a talk show guy, an economist, smart fellow, and someone who saw this disaster coming, and I think this is a riot, really, knowing he would not be able to afford to see his doctors next year under Obamacare, he went out and saw them all this year. I think that's a riot. I wonder if anyone else did that. But you saw it coming. Most of us knew it was going to be bad, but not this bad. And you maintain that 25% of the people are going to believe Obama and his minions, whatever lie they tell them, right? But that would leave 75% who are going to throw the rascals out. Is that what you think will happen next year?
Well, you know, it's funny, Kevin, you think about it. 3 weeks ago, we had this government shutdown, and Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, the whole bunch of them were being vilified by the Republicans and the Democrats.
That's right.
Here we are 3 weeks later, and people are seeing what a horrible thing this was, and they're starting to think, you know, maybe this Ted Cruz guy isn't such a wacko bird. Maybe he really was fighting for you, and he was really trying to help you and trying to avoid you having to go through what you're going through now. And we're just seeing the beginning of the policy cancellations and the premium hikes. You know, 3 weeks is a long time in politics, and 3 months, you know, when people still can't sign up for these overpriced, overinflated policies, who knows what's going to happen? I'm shying away from making the predictions, but you could very well see a veritable revolution take place in November where people are just totally fed up and they throw everybody out.
Well, if they throw
such a bad thing.
If they throw everybody out, though, they're going to throw out a couple of good guys, but nevertheless, and a couple of good gals.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, there is that thinking, get rid of all of them. Well, then you end up with Democrats still controlling the Senate and Republicans still controlling the House, and by a small margin both places. So it's better if they choose whoever is going to tell the closest thing to the truth. Now, they've caught Obama in a lie. Even NBC, which has been carrying his water, you know, for all these years, even they are now saying he lied. I'm trying to think back when a president lied. Well, yeah, we got Clinton. He lied. They forgave him. So Bush misled, but I think he had been misled about Iraq. I think he sincerely believed what he was saying. My point is, once a guy lies, is he done?
Well, you know, there's the argument that Obama is quickly becoming a lame duck president anyways. So hard to know. And, you know, he's still got his minions making regulations left and right, trying to kill the economy. And, he's still got power there. So hard to know. I would refrain from making predictions, but as far as legislatively and credibility-wise with the American public, I think he's shot there for sure.
Okay, your book is entitled Forget Wall Street, another group of unsavory characters, I think. Go for gold and silver, too. Tell me what you mean. Listen, I don't know too many people who can buy gold at whatever it is, $1,600 an ounce, something like that.
$1,330.
Oh, it's down that far. Okay, but silver you can afford. A lot of people can afford silver.
Sure.
Why are you telling them to buy silver, and if they can afford it, gold?
Well, here's the thing. The U.S., since it went off the last vestiges of the gold standard in 1971, when Nixon closed the gold window, has been in a race to debase the currency. And the money supply, what a dollar buys you, if you were locked away, they froze you in 1971 with $10,000 in your pocket, and then they defrosted you this year, and you went out and you tried to buy a house, a car, groceries, that $10,000 would buy you a fraction of what it bought you in 1971.
Exactly.
And, yeah, it's obvious, how much gasoline you could buy, and that's only going to get worse. And when you measure it from 1913, during the founding of the Federal Reserve, the chartering of it, to now, it's less than 5 cents. And what people don't understand is that from the founding of the Republic in 1776, for those of you who've really been dumbed down by the government indoctrination centers, forgive me, schools, that's when the Republic was founded. We had no inflation. We had periods of inflation, but basically $1 in 1776 bought the same amount of goods and services up until 1912 that it did in 1776.
Really?
Because,
amazing, yeah.
It was based on gold. $1 was a definite measure of silver. I don't want to get into all the technical stuff because that will bore you. But suffice it to say, $1 in 1776 bought the same roughly amount of goods and services as it did in 1912. Give or take, actually it bought you more in 1912 because you had periods of deflation. The only time it bought you less was in periods of war because wars are inflationary. So the point here is that the current monetary system, the way since 2008, 2009, the crash has become unsustainable. The entitlements, the whole government giveaway system cannot continue on the way it is. The government supporting the banks, there's no difference between Wall Street and the U.S. government. I don't know which owns which. I don't know where one starts and the other ends. If you can figure it out, Kevin, please explain it to me, because I don't know. Does Goldman Sachs own the government, or does the government own Goldman Sachs, or what's the difference? I can't tell. The too big to fail banks are just branch offices of the U.S. Treasury or the Federal Reserve. I don't know the difference. So the point is, it's going to stop at some point. It's going to collapse. You need to protect your wealth if you have any. If you can't afford gold, you can certainly afford to buy a roll or two of pre-1965 quarters or dimes weekly, monthly. Just get some in your hands because that has value, and the value of that, it's gone down the past 2 years, but it had gone up for 12 years. So the point is, having some of that in your possession will get you through the hard times that are ahead. And whatever the government tells you, Great Recession, in my estimation, we've been in a depression. When you see 20% plus real unemployment, when you see 50 million people on food stamps, regardless how many are fraudulent and shouldn't be, a substantial number of people, Kevin, collecting food stamps, you know that this is not a sound economy.
Kerry, our time is gone, but you certainly make the complicated understandable. And we're going to have you back. Is that okay? I tried to figure out where I booked you from, if you'll pardon bad grammar. Where did I book you? Doesn't matter. I've got your telephone number. May I call you sometime and line you up?
Anytime I'm available.
And we can talk next time, perhaps, Kerry, about the day that is coming, I firmly believe, when you'll go to the grocery store with gold, more likely silver, maybe even quarters if they're silver, and you'll be able to buy things that dollars won't do it. Because you can't just keep printing money and think it's still going to be worth something. It's what they call fiat money. It's only worth what you're willing to say it's worth, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's not really worth anything. There's nothing backing it up, right? All right.
Exactly.
Very good. You know, and I didn't do well in college economics, but talking to guys like you, I'm beginning late in life to pick up on it. All right. Thanks, Kerry. We'll have you back,
Thanks.
pal. All right?
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye. His book, again, Kerry Lutz, Lutz. He's a lawyer, entrepreneur, talk show guy, economist, smart dude. His book is Forget Wall Street, Go for the Gold and Silver, Too. A lot of bright people are saying that. That's it for now. Stay tuned for more news and information on AM 1480 WLEA. Okay.